about dealing with the elderly at the end of their lifetime and dealing with their religious beliefs. How would you, do you think it's correct to disagree with them, or is it going to cause them to be more, dealing with more despair at the end of their lifetime?
Yeah, this...
Yeah, you talk. I'm not touching.
Oh, boy. Okay.
No.
Yeah, this topic... No, go ahead, Liz. Go ahead.
Should I give you an example?
Yes,
Sure.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. I'm talking about dealing with people who are toward the end of their lives. They've got a lot of their friends passing on. They tend to like to bring their own religious beliefs to the table and pressure you about them. And I don't happen to agree with a lot of it, but I am afraid to disagree because I don't want to cause them to have more negative connotations and more mental problems.
Yeah.
Like
that type of thing, I've dealt with that, a few times, as a matter of fact, with both of my grandparents. And, I mean, yeah, they were religious. It was just, it just came with the territory. And one of my grandmothers in particular, she was always the one. She would jump up, she would dance, and talk about this good Jesus. Like that was her. That was her thing, and that's just the way she was. And you couldn't tell her, even if I sat up there and tell her that, oh, I'm an atheist and I don't believe this, like it wouldn't faze her in one iota. And she might come back at me, and then maybe a conversation, an argument. It comes down to what you want to come out of that conversation, because it's possible that they might accept your point of view. It's possible that it can go horribly wrong, and it may not be worth it to you to actually explore that topic. For me, I mean, she was in her 80s. It was just it wasn't important enough to me to come back at her to say like, no, that's not for me. But when we would pray for a meal, for example, I wouldn't pretend to pray. I would, hold hands with everyone else and, start looking around. I would look at, the little cousins and things that are looking around playing while everyone else is praying. And so I wouldn't pretend that I was religious for her sake, but it wasn't important enough to me. And especially towards the end when she got sicker and pain started mounting, that she relied on that as a crutch to kind of help her get through things. And
exactly,
it wasn't worth it to me to try to rip that crutch out from under her and alienate her and other people in my family just to appease myself or my opinion. I know where I stand on the issue as an agnostic atheist. I know, what I hold, and I know what they believe because they're not shy about saying so. So in her old age, as she went on, I enjoyed her for what she was. We had times together. We ate and, exchanged gifts. The winter solstice little elephant gift exchanged, because she was not about the Christmas life. They did not do that. Not in her house. Seriously, that she would not have it. But
you got to respect her wishes and.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, I wouldn't say, like, if she asked me a direct question, I wouldn't sit there and lie to her and say, yes, I believe, that Jesus is the Savior. Yeah, like, I wouldn't sit there and lie to her, but, she knew that other people didn't believe exactly the way that she did or didn't see things exactly the way that she did. And for me, I think that people were very well aware that I was an atheist, but I would still respect everyone. People would still respect me, and we got along, and we went on about our business. We were a family, and that was a part of the
family.
The dynamic, the family dynamic that we had, and that was fine. And I was I was very happy to be a part of her life all the way until she eventually passed. On both sides, it was that same type of thing. It's just...
I really enjoy hearing that because, and they say atheists have no morality. You really impressed me. Thank you.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean, wait a minute?
Well, I just want to, I mean, yes, Phil is very moral and impresses me constantly.
Here comes dissension. Here we go.
But maybe I'm a little more callous than Phil. And I just want to make sure that all perspectives get in before you hang up.
No, I'm interested in hearing your voice as well.
Sure. So yes, I think that it's important to be nice to other people and care about each other's feelings. And there are certainly plenty of times when the nicest thing to do is just sit back and not distress your elderly friends or relatives. That said, I don't think that... I think everyone is to some degree personally responsible for their own happiness and how they take things. And not talking about atheism is not, I mean, the decision to talk about it or not is not zero stakes. It may be very low stakes some of the time. How important is it to convince your grandmother that there's no God when, when she's almost gone? But in the bigger picture, being an out atheist makes you a model for other people.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Stop right there. I don't consider myself an atheist.
Okay.
Because neither has been proven to me to be correct. So I'm still on the bench.
Okay, but what are you worried about your grandmother finding out?
I'm more I'm not the atheist, but there are atheists in the family, and it just tends to go overboard with the religion, which gets annoying at times. But she is at the end of her life, and so that's where I find not being able to stand up and say you're wrong annoys me, and it really irritates me sometimes because it seems like it's always being pushed.
That situation is a little different, and I probably would have had a different, a little take on that, because if it's to the point to where you can't, if they aren't respecting your beliefs, and they aren't respecting you to kind of leave well enough alone, then if it's that much of a problem to you, then honestly, it may be worth it to actually say something. Only you can make that decision, because there may be some ramifications from a personal perspective in your family, the dynamic that may come from that. But if family was actively pushing religion onto me, just kind of browbeating it in, like, thank you.
I'm not quite clear. Were you saying that it's actually the atheists in your family who are being pushy, or was it your grandmother?
Side.
It's actually, let me put this. My dad's an atheist. My mom's religious. And she's very pushy about religion.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay. But and then she pushes it at me, but I'm not religious. So I don't consider myself religious in any way. But she gets very pushy sometimes about it, but because she's so sick and at the end of her life, I wonder if by standing up to her is not going to make it actually worse mentally for her.
So it's a complicated situation.
Spiritually.
Right. It's a complicated situation because respect is a two-way street. And if your mother were not at the end of her life, but she were constantly telling you about religion or in a very low-key way, I would almost describe it as bullying you about accepting her beliefs.
Exactly.
There is a case to be made that you can't you shouldn't have to just get out of your mom's way because you're afraid of hurting her feelings, especially if she's not concerned at all about hurting your feelings. And I'll just throw in there that in the long term, this may not be the healthiest way to conduct a family relationship between a believer and a non-believer, because it sends the believer the message that they can walk all over you, and maybe they will continue to escalate that.
I don't think so, because it seems that she's getting more into her illness. She actually seems to be getting more religious. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I was younger, she didn't pressure you about religion as much, if even at all, to be honest.
Yeah,
But it just seems that she's getting more into the confused and confusion as she's getting older, and probably don't want to say dementia, but as she's getting on, it seems like she's getting more religious.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's hard to. It's hard for me to make that recommendation, because if somebody was pressuring you, I would be the first to say, hey, it may be worth it to have a conversation with that individual to say, it's just making me feel uncomfortable, the conversations that we're having. I would appreciate it if we didn't talk about that subject or, kind of approach it like that. But I don't know, that's pretty hard given what you just said and the situation you laid out. I'm not sure what is going to be the best method like this. I wish I could be more helpful.
I don't even know if she would remember talking about it sometimes. That's part of the problem as well. So to rip out her religious beliefs by standing up to her, that's a hard situation to deal with.
But you don't have to. Oh, sorry.
Well, when I say that you're not responsible for other people's happiness, part of that is my intuition that probably the things that you say are not going to be single-handedly ripping out her religious beliefs. And even if they are, you can't necessarily assume that that's going to be a negative experience, because a lot of people I've talked to who were religious and then changed their minds about it describe it as a very freeing experience.
Yeah,
and I know that's not true for everybody, but you can't just make the decision to withhold some information on the assumption that it's going to go one way.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be ripping out religion. Like, you don't have to go in there and say, like, no, this is bull. You shut up. Like, it doesn't have to be.
I meant more ripping out for her beliefs about me. About her. Where she's getting comfort thinking that we're all going to go to the same heaven.
Got it.
I got you.
Yeah, okay. So, and then again, with the confusion and the not knowing, it's very difficult to deal with somebody who 1 minute is mentally there and the next minute is not.
Sure.
You may find yourself having a lot of repeated conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That was one of my grandmothers. She experienced dementia along her path, and that was just her short-term memory was very, very affected, and so she would forget where her purse was, or if she made a plate before she went on, she would keep asking about it every 15 to 20 seconds to kind of rehash where it was, and we would have to say, "Here, it's right here on the table. It's right here, Mama," and that's just kind of was, but. Yeah, it's just that's the hard thing to take. I don't know. I'm really down on that situation.
It's a difficult question, and it's a difficult question all around for people, I think.
Yeah. Well, good luck talking to her.
Thank you.
Or not talking to her.
I think whatever you decide is best for your.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a situation where we can just say, yes, you absolutely should, or no, you should not do a certain thing. Sure. I think this is up to you and your understanding of what's best for everybody.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You've given me some definite insights into how to go about it, dealing with other people in the family as well.
Glad we could help.
All right. Well, good luck, Leslie. You take care.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.